you guys start another 3 games in 7-day stretch here. Any chance we see him this week?
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, part of us holding him out of that week of All-Star, not holding him out, but him not being a part of the All-Star and LAFC was to give him that time to recover. He's trained all week with the group, and he's done well. He feels good, looks good, so he'll be available this week, and we'll try to work together with him and make sure that we create the right loads and schedule just to get through this really busy week. But we want to see as much of him as we can without putting him in a tough situation. But he'll be ready to go.
And then you look at the guys who are headed back from international duty. Will anybody be available for Saturday? Or I know they're coming from all over the world, really.
Yeah, I mean, we have different variables that are going on with a few of the guys. Some is just travel distance. Some is vaccinations and whether guys are vaccinated or not. And if they arrive back and aren't vaccinated, then they'll obviously have quarantines that they'll have to fulfill. Some of the guys will be ready, and we're just going to find out where they're at kind of physically upon their arrival, and then set up their minutes and their involvement according to kind of where we feel they are and where they feel they are physically. So those variables apply for different guys. And so, we suspect at least we'll get 2 or 3 back and available for Saturday, and probably the remainder of the group as we move into next week.
And one more, have you been able to accomplish what you wanted during the international break?
Yeah, well, I think we got some time to work on some of the things that we talked about before. We did some defensive work and we broke some things down. And you can't work on everything because you don't have everyone here. And so there's a group of guys who were able to benefit from the 2 weeks of training that we had here, and we're able to connect with each other, and we're able to get through the things that we feel like we need to get through. But we still have, like we said, 6 or so guys who were off, and just they were playing and they were doing things that are going to help them physically keep moving along and all that kind of stuff. But they were disconnected from our group over those 6 days. So, but we were pleased with what we were accomplished. I was really pleased with the intensity and the work of the guys. And yeah, now we look forward to get back out, play again, see where we're at, and keep building from there.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Next we'll go to Larry Morgan.
Hi, Greg. Long time no see.
Yeah, Larry, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Great.
I got a 2-part question. One, the Galaxy have had their share of problems playing in Colorado over the years, and certainly they aren't the only MLS team who has struggled on the road against that team. What makes that such a difficult place to play? Is it such the altitude, or is it more than that? And 2, you're going to be facing your old friend again, Robin.
Yeah.
How difficult is that when a good friend of yours is right down the sideline, who's like only feet from you down the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, first thing as it relates to Colorado, I think, as it relates to playing away games in this league, it's challenging just in general. I think this is a tough league in terms of road competition, just because of the travel, the timing of the travel in many occasions. Sometimes it's the proximity of games. And then you add something unique in Colorado, which is, over 6,000 feet of altitude that the guys don't typically get to see. You kind of see it in this one-off, or in RSL you see some version of it, 4,000 feet, but you don't see it all the time. And it certainly has an impact in the game, and it certainly has, guys go through that physical sort of stress that they're not used to, and you just got to kind of work through it and power through it. And in Colorado, especially, I think with Robin and some of the coaches along the way, they know how to use that to their benefit and how to make the game difficult. And then they try to obviously to pour it on a little bit down the stretch when the teams are maybe just feeling it a little bit more than normal. So. I think it's just one of those places in our league it's a challenging place to play. On top of the league already being challenging with the road games and all that. So, as it relates to Robin down the sideline, difficult. I don't know if it's difficult. I think it's interesting because I think a little bit of each of us is in each other's heads, in terms of what might happen next or what he might do based off of what we're seeing, and some of that goes on, but. I enjoy playing against his teams. I'm sure vice versa. We always know there's going to be, as we said before, something to think about I thought our group played quite well against them in the last game. We made some mistakes that we can't make, and we gave up goals that we can't give up. But through stretches of the game, I thought we had pretty good control of the game. I thought we had momentum going forward, and we had a couple chances to go up 2-1, and then we turn around and give away the second goal on the other side. And so, they're obviously on a great run. They have a lot of confidence. They've been rolling, and momentum is huge in our league, and they have it on their side. And so, we've got to go to a tough place to play and try to disrupt their momentum and find a positive way to get a result. And for us, part of that is just not shooting ourselves in the foot, on the defensive side of things and being better there, which is obviously stuff we addressed over the last couple of weeks, and hopefully we've made some progress in that way.
And any friendly wager between you two in the return match, or?
No, we talked a lot leading up to the last game, and I think we've just iced each other out this game. No talking going into it. We'll see how this one plays out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah.
Next we'll go to Katya.
Thanks. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Katya.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Javier and what are your expectations? I mean, I know he's not just going to pick up where he left off, but what have you seen in training? And also, how are you planning on working that relationship with John, especially after what we saw from him in the last game?
Yeah, I think, as it relates to Javier, obviously physically trying to get him to full fitness, full match fitness, sharpness, getting him integrated into the team. We found a way to kind of play 11v11 this week. It was nice. Javi scored a couple goals, and which is nice. Anytime you're a striker, regardless of who you're playing against or how, when you score a goal, it gives you the right sensation and the right feeling. And so it was good to have him get those goals. With he and Dayon, they played together some in that match, and we're looking at them at times as being a partnership. At times, we'll use them to spell each other in different ways. And so, as we set up this game, again, as we get him back, now we have Dayon here and other options. It's trying to get these relationships working together and in sync, and it gives us different options and different ways to approach things. And it also just gives us, in some ways, more firepower if we come off the bench with one or the other, because we don't feel like we can do it together at some times. So there's a lot of opportunity. But there are two smart players who playing together the other day were pretty clever at reading off of each other and getting chances on goal. So it's definitely something that we're looking into, whether it be this weekend or as Javi begins to progress in his fitness and all that. It will be something that we'll see at some point.
We got time for one more question from Greg. Next we'll go to Gio Garcia.
Hey Greg, great
Yep.
to see you. I know it's been some time.
Yeah.
I was going to ask along the lines the same thing that Katya asked. But let's talk about the World Cup qualifying. What have you made of the U.S. men's national team with these 3 games?
Yeah, I think World Cup qualifying is challenging, and doesn't matter. I take it from the perspective of a guy who used to play in the World Cup qualifying and used to play these games in El Salvador and Panama, and these places are difficult to play, and sometimes the game doesn't look exactly like you want it to look like, and you can't be super ideological about the approach, and it's a grind. And as I said to my kids, and I'm watching it, it's sometimes you go out there and you play and you feel like you're in the twilight zone, and you can't be trying to do too many things too cute. You just got to work. You got to outwork the opposition. You got to play forward. You got to force the opposition to make some mistakes, not be the team that makes mistakes on these tough days. And I thought in El Salvador, again, just putting the opposition under more pressure in front of their goal, putting balls across the face of the goal, doing things, playing forward more and not worrying about, holding it too much. Things like that, I think, is what this team needs to develop some of that continue to develop some of that brand of sort of relentlessness, if you will, to play these difficult games on the road. It's not going to be pretty. It's just got to be effective. And when you come home, you can do some of that stuff probably, and you can be play a little bit more of that way. But I thought, to round it out, I thought in the second half of the game against Honduras, it just became a real workmanlike approach. They played forward. They created chances in front of the goal. They whipped some crosses in. Pepe was fantastic with his first finish. They create a mistake. Again, the ball kept going forward. They create a defensive mistake. Pepe makes a great decision to square it across the goal for Aronson. I thought the midfielders in the group that they came in just started to outwork the opposition, and because of that, they created their opportunities and they created their own luck, and they turned the game into a different way. And I enjoyed the second half. For me, I think that's how the team's going to get through qualifying, especially in these difficult, challenging places to play. And then, again, when they're at home and a little bit more comfortable in the right scenarios, you can do some of the other things maybe that the team wants to continue to build on towards a World Cup or whatever. But it's a grind, no matter however you want to call it in CONCACAF, regardless of how good you think the other team is or anything. It is a grind. It is a challenge, and it's a competition first and foremost. I think they found that in the second half, and that's why they tied turn. And it was a huge 3 points. So make them breathe a little bit easier as they go home for a few weeks and play in their clubs and come back for the next round. It'll make it a lot clearer next series of games now that they have 5 points instead of, say, 3 or 2.
Thank you.
Yep.
Greg.
All right. Thanks, everyone.